Hi everyone, Diana Mira here. I told a few of you that I would share a meditation experience that I had a few days ago at the Integratron, which is located in Landers, California. It's a pretty cool building. The gentleman that designed it and built the original structure there, he believed he received the information for its design and structure from extraterrestrials, from Venus. And, he may or may not have. I tend to believe that there's some truth in there somewhere. But anyways, he was never able to finish it to the potential that he knew it could be. But now some sisters have taken it over and they run it. And the structure itself is incredibly acoustically sound. And so they run sound baths a few times a day, and you can also rent out the structure for private events and things like that. So anyways, I was very fortunate that I got to go with a friend and experience a sound bath in the Integratron recently. And I had a fun meditation experience that I'm going to share with you now. So first of all, I decided as I lay there listening to the sound that I was just going to allow myself to experience whatever came up. And that's pretty much what I do anytime in meditation, but for those of you that do meditate, you find that from time to time, your mind maybe goes through a laundry list of things to do later on that day, or meditation can also be a way to help clear up thoughts in your mind. So I thought, I'm just going to completely be open to the experience and see where I go and what happens. And so as the sound bath started, first of all, they use beautiful crystal bowls. And so as the sound bath started, just listening to the sound of the bowls, that alone is just such a wonderful, relaxing sensation. And then what I noticed, because they had a couple windows open in the Integratron, the sounds of the birds outside just seemed to fit perfectly and beautifully with the sound of the bowl. And that brought to me the thought and the awareness of how absolutely perfect everything is in every moment. Certainly this world is one of imperfection, but that's what's so incredibly beautiful about it, is the perfection of the imperfection. So I allowed myself to be in that experience of the perfection of everything, with the sound of the birds intertwined with the sound of the crystal singing bowls. And so that alone was really fantastic and even brought tears to my eyes. So from there, I thought, well, let's see what else will happen. So as I calmed down, because really, it was such an overwhelming, beautiful experience, bringing tears to my eyes. The body sometimes, as we access these higher frequencies, it has a difficult time, it can have a difficult time adjusting to the higher frequencies that you may be shifting into. So I noticed that within myself, because it was such an overwhelming experience, that my body was having a little bit of a difficulty adjusting to the frequency. So I decided just to focus on some deep breathing and just breathe into the experience. And so from there, as the body became more quiet and calm, then I started getting these visions of geometric shapes, mostly triangular, but like triangles within triangles within triangles, and from all different perspectives, and going in on each other and then also expanding out on each other and moving in conjunction with each other. So that, I was thinking, well, that's really cool. I don't know what it means. That's really cool. I'll just let that happen for a little bit. So as I observed that, I began to be aware of voices. And so for me, when I say voices, it's not that I'm audibly hearing a sound of somebody's voice speaking to me, but I'm utilizing or accessing an inner ability of reception. So I started to become aware of voices and words. that were being spoken. And what I kept hearing was, I am you, you are me. I am you, and you are me. I am you, and you are me. And I heard this over and over and over. And as I heard it, I began to also have images in my mind. And the image was of myself as a nondescript outline of a being. And then there was another nondescript being. And we were juxtaposed in front of each other, almost as if looking in a mirror. But I knew that there was a difference between my being and that being. So we just became very aware of each other and watched each other in this mirror state. And the awareness of the truth, really, that I am you, and you are me. So even though we're separate entities or separate energies or beings, really, truly we're the same. Because then what happened was my thoughts went to a very, very small atom. I mean, really, that's what it was. That's the smallest thing that I guess my mind could go down to, was an atom. And so noticing that the atomic level, that everything literally is exactly the same. So my cells, the atoms that make up my being, really underneath a microscope or at that level are the same as, you know, this plant here, or the trees outside, or another human being, or, you know, the dirt, the rocks, or even, you know, the stars themselves. It's really true that we are all of the same substance. That at the, you know, if we go really as deeply into the most finite piece that we can look at, it's all going to look the same. It's all going to be the same. So, you know, certainly this is nothing new, right? Like everybody knows this. But when you're actually experiencing it, at least for me, it was pretty powerful. So touching into that awareness and that absolute knowing that I am you and you are me, and everything is all connected. Everything is literally of the same one. We are all the same one. We're just different presentations of that one. So from there, my thought said, well, what about the one? And so instead of calling it one or God or universe, I chose to refer to whatever that is as the Creator. And so for me, I said, okay, so what about the Creator? You know, is it possible to see the Creator? Let me see the Creator. I'd like to see the Creator. And so initially, my human mind started constructing ideas or maybe even memories of different images that I've seen that we might connect with being with the Creator. Mostly, you know, cosmic type images, different like nebulous things. And so the conscious part of my mind that was still present was saying, well, that's all well and good, Diane. You know, of course, you know, that's expected. Isn't that expected, what you would want to see or what you would expect to see when thinking about what the Creator would look like or be like? And so I let those thoughts kind of play through for a moment. And then I decided, you know, that, yeah, it's probably just my own, you know, my own humanness, my own human consciousness wanting to connect it with something that it recognizes. I said, okay, well, I can accept that. And then I can also allow for anything else to become available to me. And so I watched for a little while in my inner mind these different nebulous colors and shapes and light. And then truly everything did turn to light, which here again sounds really cliche. It's all light. But it became very, very, very light. And I felt myself sort of as though I was moving into this light. And as I was moving into this light, it felt as if I was in a hurricane, because the energy, the swirling effect of the light, it was really active, but I wasn't getting, tossed around or anything. I was able to still kind of, move my way through this light and this energy, and it felt very wonderful. It did feel light, and I thought, well, we'll just experience this for a little while, see what happens. And then, as I'm doing this, and I still have the thought in my head, well, what of the Creator? What of the Creator? What is the Creator? And all of a sudden, I was going through this hurricane sensation, and then, just like we know about hurricanes, in the eye of the hurricane, supposedly, I've never been in an eye of a hurricane, but supposedly it's very quiet and serene in the eye of the hurricane. And that's exactly what I experienced once I went through this light, and then suddenly I was in this space, and the thought I had was, this is the eye of the hurricane. And so as I oriented myself in that space, I realized this is the Creator. Nothingness. Nothingness is the Creator. And it made absolute sense to me, because the nothingness is all. Everything is nothingness. And it was absolute peace, absolute tranquility, no sound, no movement, complete and utter stillness. And then I posed the thought to this Creator, and I said, all right, so what about my creation? How was I created from this nothingness? And it literally came to me that I was willed into being. Every single thing that exists because the Creator willed it so. And so the thought came to me, as my conscious mind is still there, paying attention and having fun with this, that saying, where there's a will, there's a way. And I saw that there's an absolute truth in that saying. And I really came into the awareness that as a fragment of the Creator, as creators ourselves, that truly anything we would want to create on this plane, in this world, is just a matter of will, a matter of willing it to be. So, anyway, it was a pretty incredible, powerful moment for me, just being in the awareness of that. And then the image that was presented to me in the stillness and the nothingness was one of, the nothingness was there. And even though there's no real boundary or wall for the nothingness, it felt as though, I could contain it into a space. So within that nothingness, the image that I saw was the outline of a being in the meditation pose, in a seated folded leg meditation pose. And the awareness that came to me about that was that truly is how we connect into the Creator and into creation and into our own power of creation. That is how we can will something into being for ourselves, is through that state of absolute peace and tranquility, through that meditative state. And it seems so completely simple. It just seems entirely simplistic and almost comical. In fact, I think I did even have a little laugh or chuckle. So that's what I want to share with you. I don't know that there's much more that I can say about that experience. I do believe that those of you will, there are those of you that will understand these images and this message. And here again, it's not that this is anything new. It's not that this is, some great revelatory information or something. But I did want to share that with those who find this video. And perhaps it will be of benefit to you in some way. Perhaps there's some value in my sharing this experience. So I thank you for listening and for watching and truly just for being you. Namaste.